What's up, guys? Welcome to the Silver Ross Podcast again. I'm your host, Mitchell Deal, and this is my buddy Anthony joining me again. So, what's up, Anthony?
Not much. Glad to be back on. Had an interesting talk last week, and the Lions also got the win, so feeling great.
Yeah, let's jump right into it. Let's talk about that Bucs game. We talked about, going to that game, we felt good. We felt it could, we could win that game, of course, but we had to prove it and take care of business, and they did that. Any surprises in that game for you? I mean, we won. I don't think that surprised either of us. We knew we were capable of doing that. It was a really good win, really good road win. But any surprises in the game, like how either team performed?
Surprise-wise, all things considered, I know Montgomery got injured, but just our rushing attack kind of looked beatable for the first time this season, and no pressure, not pressures, but no sacks and whatnot. But that would be the only thing that surprised me, that kind of stood out surprise-wise. No, we were held under 100 yards, actually well under. We didn't even have 50, I don't think. We had 30 some. For the first time this season, Montgomery got hurt, but it just didn't look like we could get our run game going. But offense, Jared Goff and the passing attack, said, all right, that's what I like. We were like, what? We have so many, parts of our team that when one struggle and the other picks it up. Especially offensively. Okay, we want to run the football, but we couldn't run the ball. So, they were like, you know what? All right, let's just throw this bitch. And Jared Goff, that was a great defense he played. He lit him up. And they tried to blitz us a ton. They tried to go cover zero on us, man-to-man. We were just taking advantage of that and cooking. Speaking of cooking, St. Brown cooked. Jamo had that awesome touchdown, bro. That was awesome. Laporte played well. Not his best game, but he didn't have to. Reynolds played really good too. So yeah, they were cooking. That was awesome. So no sacks, but they pressured decent amounts. We probably should have had more. We should have had. We didn't have no sacks, right? Or do we have one? I think we might have had one, but
we did have one. Julian, that's right, Julian Okora.
Yep, Julian Okora, yeah. And my God, he looks like he's just beefed up so much. When I saw him, I was like, that's Julian, not Romeo,
Right, and he had what? Didn't he have a tackle for a loss and a sack in that game?
Yeah.
And the week before, I believe he had a tip ball too. He's just making plays, man. D-line keeps getting deeper.
That's all we wanted out of them too, because it just took him a minute to get going, and he was injured and just wasn't seeing it. And then the nice story about him and his brother being on the team was kind of fading. And this year he's stepped up in preseason. We kept he made us keep him on the team. So
yeah, because he was on the bubble.
Yeah, he would have probably gotten cut, and because of our depth at edge. And he's been making little plays, just keep stacking them up, and that's all we need from him.
Yeah, and so I want to talk about our secondary, because I remember when we were going to Atlanta, our run defense the first couple weeks looked really good, but I was like, okay, the real test is Atlanta. If we do what we've been doing against Atlanta, we're legit. Our run defense is legit.
Yeah.
Did that. By now we know the Lions have an elite run defense. In my opinion, the best statistically too, but the best run defense in the NFL. And so I said, going into this game, our secondary, besides Seattle, really, they've been playing really good, but they haven't really been tested a lot with really great receivers, and besides Seattle, which didn't look great. So I was like, okay, if they can do well against Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, then I'm going to buy in more into the secondary, and they did that. They did just that. Cam Sutton was great as always. Jerry Jacobs, besides that Seattle game, he's really coming along, bro. I was so upset at him at the Seattle game. I was like, damn. And then he bounced back. There was a play he had, because sometimes he likes to fly in there and he'll miss tackles. But there was a play he had against Tampa where he just he got off the block. It was a wide receiver screen. Got off the block, made an amazing tackle, dude. I was like, oh my gosh. So Jerry had a great game. Cam did. They held, I think, both of them under 50 yards. It was super impressive. The defense was so dominant against Baker and those Bucs.
Yeah, to hold a team to 6 points, and like we said, we didn't get the pressures, but like we held their run defense, or our run defense held up all four quarters, and to where they became very one dimensional.
Hmm.
And to credit I want to credit our linebackers because I feel like that's also the biggest like reason why our passing defense is also taking a huge step forward this year.
Hmm.
Alex Anzalone is playing on another
Hmm.
level than he's ever played in his career. And I wouldn't say disappointed about us re-signing him, but I was kind of like shocked. I thought that was one of the players that we'd let go, and one of the players that that was like, I guess like yeah, he's a good leader and whatnot. And he's proven me wrong this year. I am so impressed. He's all over the field. He's stepping up. He's helping in coverage. He's helping making sure the plays aren't getting no yards after the catch, and he's just doing his damn job, and I can't be more impressed with that.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought him up because he's one guy I want to talk about. He's been
Yeah.
playing awesome football. Okay, man, Brad Holmes. He signed him a couple years ago. His first year, he signed him
Hmm.
as a 1 year deal. And it wasn't impressive. It was like, okay, we're just gonna do a bunch of 1 year deals, get some guys in here that are good vets, whatever, until we build this roster. Well, that year goes up. They're like, okay, we're still rebuilding. It's year two. Bring him back. And then it was like, okay, this is just another 1 year deal. He's gone after the season. We'll get some like real linebackers in here. You were thinking, oh, you got Malcolm, and then obviously free agency is before the draft, so we didn't know we were getting Jack Campbell. But you signed him to a 3 year deal, and I was like, oh, we brought him back, and he played year two. Year one was solid. There wasn't a lot of talent, so it was okay. Year two last year he played. He was much better. He was more solid. He was a solid ball player, but nothing special, right? But then all of a sudden, the defense all around him is really good, and he's really benefiting, and he's making the plays though. Like I thought he would have his best year yet because the defense is a lot better just around him, but is more than that. Like
Yeah.
he's great in the run game. He's all over the freaking field making plays. And then he's been great in coverage. I think I seen today only one touchdown. Like he's been so good, and you watch it because you watch him against some of these receivers this season. You're like he's lined up against some receivers making plays.
Yeah.
He's been really good. I say he's a top 10 outside. I mean, off ball linebacker or even top
Yep.
five. That's how good he's playing right now. Like he's playing
I
phenomenal, and it's crazy because you had Malcolm who hasn't really done anything this season. And then you have Derek Barnes. He rose up. He's gotten better. And then you draft a first round linebacker, and then Alex is like, okay, watch this. So and he's been playing amazing. He's a big piece. Big piece why this defense has been awesome. And I honestly don't sit there and be like, oh, our linebackers are the issue. I seen someone say we need another linebacker, but I don't sit there and be like, oh, our linebacker's the issue because another thing is Jack Campbell. He's starting to come along really good in the run game last against the Bucs. I'm like, oh shit. So he's coming along. Alex is balling out. Barnes is playing well. So it's like, oh shit, our linebackers are nice. I look at this defense and there's nowhere on this defense I'm saying that is a huge hole and that's gonna cost us. There's nowhere on this defense. Like, no.
Yeah. No. From another podcast that I was watching,
Mm-hmm.
they were talking about like there's no yeah buts with the Lions. Like yeah, but they got this, but yeah, but they're missing this.
Mm-hmm.
And I sat around and I thought about it, and he was like, man, he's got a point. Like there is no yeah buts about this team. Like we're not like really missing one piece. I mean, we got depth at corner. We got depth at safety. Our linebackers, which I thought was going to be, before free agency started, I thought it was going to be a pretty big hole to fill.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, our run defense would still needed some work. And all of that in 6 games has been thrown out the window. We don't have a lot of holes. Our
Nope.
offense can go vertical if it needs to. Our offense can burn clock if it needs to. And we have a dominant, probably the best offensive line this year in
Mm-hmm.
football. I think we've surpassed the Eagles, and I think we've surpassed the Browns and
Mm-hmm.
offensive line. And so when you put that all together, we might be the most complete team, uh, in football. I think we got a better quarterback than San Francisco. I think
Mm-hmm.
we might be the most complete team in the NFL, which is crazy. In three
It's
years of
crazy.
Brad Holmes' tenure.
Yeah, it's just so crazy. You look at this roster in 3 years. Like there's, I never thought we could. The turnaround has been so fast. It's like holy
Yes.
shit. And we might be a year early. I don't know. Like I don't want to really say Super Bowl, but at the same time I do. It's like, man, we are really good. Like our defense is legit, our offense is legit. We're really good. And so I thought we'd be more Super Bowl contenders next year, but hey, I'm not complaining if we're a year early. We'll see. We'll see how the season keeps going, but it's looking good. But back to your point where when we were talking about the defense, there's really no holes. Like cornerback one, I think we have a top 10 corner in Cam Sutton. Cornerback two, Jared Jacobs is proven to be a really good corner too. Then you have Walker's been awesome. Kirby. I want to see more out of Kirby, but I don't think he's been like bad or anything. I want to see a
He's
little
been
more out of
banged
him.
up,
Yeah,
He
he's
got
just getting
this
back.
week, and he
Hmm.
still made a play. He still had a tipped
Hmm.
pass this week
Yeah,
too, which was great to see.
yeah,
I missed him. I missed him balling out there
yeah.
this
And
year. So
he's gonna get better as the year goes on. Get back into
yeah,
his groove. I'm not worried about him. And then Branch is about to come back. I think he's coming back this
yeah,
week, so our nickel's gonna
he
be
is.
good.
Yep, he's
And even
playing
though
well.
Will Harris is honestly, he was playing pretty good. I've been critical on him, but he's been playing good ball. But I'm happy Branch back is. Will's been playing good, but Branch he just takes it to a different level. He makes his impact known. Like he's everywhere when he's
Yeah,
on that football field.
exactly.
So I think he can win the defensive rookie of the year. So he's back. It looks like he might be back this week, which is awesome.
Yeah,
So
I think I seen
you
that
got
he is back, and he was in limited practice today,
yeah,
along with Gibbs. But that if you just keep sacking those limited practices up, like especially today or tomorrow, that's the big tell. Like if he's if he's playing or not, which I think he is. Him and Gibbs are going to be back this week, which is huge.
yeah, I
We
think
need
so.
them.
Yeah. And so that's the secondary no holes. You look at the linebackers. We already talked about them. No holes really. Especially Campbell coming along. No really
Yeah.
holes. And then that D
I
line.
like that he's being playing on the edge a little bit. They're setting him up on the edge a little bit. I like that. Like
Hmm.
they've done it with Barnes a few times, and they're letting Campbell do it now, and he just is a monster against the run. So I like it.
Hmm. Yeah, he's being used as all over the field. That's fun because he's a unique athlete for his size. So
Right.
just trying to let him do a couple of different things. And then the D line, obviously Hutch is a monster. Um, then you have McNeil, who he's been playing out of his mind. Then the other
But
couple other solid defensive tackles and Bugs and Jones, they've
I
been
want to
playing well.
I want to compliment Benito Jones and John Kaminsky. I mean, they
Oh,
just
Kaminsky
tore
too.
up. Yeah, they tore up Cody Mock this game. I mean, they both combined for 7 pressures. Kind of
Yeah.
unsung heroes from that game. And if you watch the tape, I mean, they are just going at it. They're like all game. This poor guy is just like he's just going from one guy to another, and he cannot block them. I mean, they didn't get the sacks, but like you don't need
Hmm.
sacks. You just need to
No.
make your presence felt,
Hmm.
and that's what they did, and it made Baker throw bad throws.
Yep. And we've already talked about edge room. We feel like it's really good. So, like we said, no holes. The offense is really good. Obviously,
Right.
I do think we have the best offensive line in the league, and our O line keeps being banged up. Jonah's out, and we still don't miss a beat. And he's one of the best guards in the league, in my opinion. So,
Yeah.
hopefully, I don't. It looks like he probably won't play this week, but hopefully he's back next week. And then our O line can stay healthy. Just be healthy the second half and in playoffs, because we're doing well right now. But yeah, our O line, like it's so good. And Sewell and Ragnow, they're playing like the best of their positions. Like they've been phenomenal, bro.
Sewell's going to be an all-pro. I mean,
Yeah,
he's got
he's just
what, over
dominating.
300 pass attempts so far and he hasn't allowed a snap or a sack. It's just
Hmm.
ridiculous. He is balling out. And he's only what, 23?
Yeah, he just had a
God,
birthday.
I mean,
It's freaking
I
crazy.
mean, I've been seeing Bengals fans like kind of like wishing that they had him over Chase, and Chase
Yeah.
is a superstar. and that's just
Right.
speaking to the volume of how much he could have helped the Bengals out.
Yep, because
And
he's a stud.
for yeah, for and he's when he was drafted, everybody was saying like this is the one player in this class that almost seems like a lock for a Hall of Fame.
Right.
And I couldn't believe we got him. I wanted when people were starting to talk about potentially us getting him, I couldn't get off of it. I couldn't
Yeah.
get off of the fact that our offensive line was going to be elite, and I'm so
Mhm.
happy we have him on our side.
Yeah, he's so good. And then obviously Montgomery got hurt, which sucks because now he's out for a few weeks again. It's like, damn.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been playing really good, but unfortunate injury. But it looks like Gibbs about to come back. And look, everybody, you about to get what you wanted because Montgomery's probably gonna be out a few games. It seems like so. Gibbs is gonna be the guy. He's gonna get those touches. So and it's the first time we get to see Gibbs and Jamo on the field. You know, they're in the offense together. This is going to be crazy. The next few weeks, the rest of the season, especially when Montgomery comes back and we get completely healthy, which we're getting there. Oh, it's going to be so nasty. Like, the offense, what we're about to do, like, you guys, they thought it was bad before. Like, we're going to do crazy shit. Because, just between those two players, the speed is ridiculous, It's so cool seeing their teammates hype them up. I've heard Saint and say like Jamo, he's faster in this or that, and then Gibbs is faster in doing this, like 40 or who's quicker, who's faster, all that. It's cool because they're both so explosive. They're so fast, and I see a lot of people talk about that Miami's running back who's had a great start to the season before he got injured,
Shane.
and talking about how he got that legit speed, and just because Gibbs hasn't blown up. People forget he's fast as hell. He's fast as hell. So I just can't wait to everybody sees it, and I'm excited to see him next couple weeks. We really need him. We really need him against Baltimore because Baltimore's run defense is really good. But the offense is gonna be fun. They did their thing. Only 20 points, but they just kept fighting, and they got those big plays. That the St. Brown on third down. And then, Craig Reynolds comes up and just smacks that.
Shout out Craig Reynolds.
Yeah, that block was, oh my goodness. And then Saint, took it in for touchdown. Then the Jameson Williams touchdown, that was beautiful. Man, that was beautiful. And that's what he brings to our offense, though.
Yep, that's the reason why we drafted him. It's just what
Yeah.
we've been waiting for this whole season. Before we found out it was going to be suspended before the hamstring injury. This is what we've been waiting for, and to come back.
Yeah, he's explosive.
And do that to come back 3 plays later after the dropped curl back
Mhm.
out, where he dropped, and to come back and score a touchdown, and it was not an easy catch too. He had to track that ball down in the air while having the guy draped all over him. To come down with it was really impressive.
Yeah, like Goff said. Goff was like, look, that wasn't the best throw. And Jameson, he looked for it, found it, and has turned around and made a great catch. Like, that was so beautiful. And that's what he brings to the offense. Is like he's anytime he touches the ball, that could go for a touchdown. Like, he's so dynamic. He's so fast. What I like what Saint said about him was like he's fast, but he also got these long strides. He's so dangerous. Like, it's gonna be fun. It's going to be fun moving forward, but...
Even on that route, it didn't even look like he was running at 100%. It looked like he was running 40 to 50% of what he's capable of, it's just funny to watch because it just looks like he's not even trying to blaze past because he's got to be aware of Jared Goff can't throw that far and that fast. He's got to slow it down a little bit, but get away from the defender. It's just funny to watch sometimes when you're looking back at it.
Right. So, dominant defense performance. Dominant. Our offense was pretty good on the road. Fans were great. I was there, and it was crazy. You're hearing on they're on third down. It's loud for them. That was crazy. So, like I said, dominant defense. I love our defense. That was awesome performance. And then, because look, Bucs they don't got no bums on offense. Look, Baker's playing really good. They have some amazing receivers. So, a really good O-line. And we just dominated defensively. And then offensively, they just stood in there. So they stayed in there until they eventually broke them a little bit and got a couple touchdowns. And that's all we needed. And Goff tore them up. If we could have run the football better, we probably would have a little more points, but we just couldn't. and that's how it is sometimes. But no worries. Offense said, Goff and them said, look, we got this, and really good performance. So
we didn't need to score that many points. I mean, 20 points was well enough, and it was about ball control at the end. I mean, we held the ball for 36 minutes. I mean, that's almost like we're draining the life out of the other team. I mean, there's nothing they can do. And to do that with passing the ball majority, it just requires a precise, accurate quarterback that does not make mistakes. I mean, for Jared Goff to throw the ball 44 times and complete 30 passes, that's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. And it was just a masterclass performance by him. It really was. Like, I don't think it's getting talked about nearly as much. I am seeing it, but like it's not being talked about nearly as much. What he did to like ice out that game at the end was nothing short of miraculous. It was awesome to see, and it was a beautiful way to like put a team away when we needed them to.
Yeah, they couldn't stop Jared. JG was cooking out there, man. He cooked a great defense. He's having a ridiculous season. Like maybe MVP type. I've been seeing it. We're talking about MVP. He might be. He's damn near top 5 and everything. Yards, touchdowns. He only has, 3 picks?
I would put him top 3 at the moment. I mean, he's on pace for 4,500 yards, 30 touchdowns, and 9 interceptions with a 105 QBR. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. I mean,
and he's almost completing 70% of his passes? Like, that's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, him and Tua are probably like up there for like the top 3 in MVP voting right now. Two things. We know it's a quarterback award, so that goes in his benefit. Yeah. They're not. I don't care how good the running backs are, McCaffrey is, or T.J. Watt is, or even if Hutch became great like that and had a monster season. Don't really, they're gonna give it to a quarterback. They always do. Yeah. So, and then they always give it to a player on a team that's winning. So. Yep. I mean, that's been unfortunate. That's unfortunate. I don't really agree with that, and that hurt us with Stafford, too, because we're like, okay, he's never going to get MVP, even if he has a monster season, because we're just not winning, But, look, and Calvin Johnson should have probably had an MVP, but, especially that AP year. I don't want to go talk about that. But, so it might benefit us in golf. That would be cool. But, like we talked about this before the game, last week on the last episode, he's our franchise QB. We've seen enough. Paid a man. He's our franchise QB. No questions about it. He's, okay, first you just want him to be solid. But now he's playing on a level where he didn't have no run game. Now the defense was doing good, and that's nice. But he had no run game, and he was just cooking. He's putting the balls, and the defenders couldn't get it. They're like, man. And then he has 3 interceptions on the year, right? Yeah.
In the first 3 games, I think he had 3 picks. And now we're sitting here like, he's throwing a lot of picks again. Nope. 6 games in, still only has 3 picks. So, I think he's in the conversation, bro, for MVP.
I agree. And, last week I said that he hasn't been playing this confident in his whole career. And he looked just as confident last Sunday, and it's just a great thing to see when he seems so in sync, so confident in his receivers to come down with the ball, and just no fear, and it's just awesome to see. I mean, when we first traded for him, this was the benefit for us,
right?
If he worked out, so couldn't have asked for anything better.
Hey, stop. Ryder, come here. Sorry. But, dog's being bad as hell. But, y'all, I'm in here. They bad as hell. But anyways, but let's talk about, the C.J. Gardner-Johnson versus Deebo Samuel beef. Now they got Lions and Niners fans beefing. I got a bunch of Niners buddies, too. They was pissed about it. They were trying to cook my boy, and I'm going to be there for my boy. I love it. It's Detroit, bro. Is it not Detroit? Doesn't it remind you of... you think about the Pistons in the 90s, that type of mentality, a lot of old school Detroit teams, that mentality, that's what it reminds me of, bro. Like, I'm going to talk shit, but I'm gonna bust your ass on the field, too, court, whatever. I'm going to do my thing. And they crazy if they don't think CJ. But some people are like, oh, Debo's like, oh, no one knows who you are, and some people said he's not one of the best DBs. I'm like, bro, he is. He's one of the best safeties in the game when he's healthy, and he's never hurt. He's just he had a freak injury, and Debo talking about, oh, you always hurt, bro. I know you not talking. Debo gets hurt a lot. Great play. He's a good player, but I don't think I think he's a good receiver, right? He's a good playmaker, but he's not in my top 5. I don't even know if he's in my top 10 receiver. Maybe playmaker because he's dynamic, but and
like top 20, maybe. Like when I start thinking about wide receivers, like
there's a lot of good ones. So it's not like a disrespect thing because there is a lot of good receivers. And it's hard when you don't have that consistency. You know what I mean? Like I have to I didn't even before going to the year. I know a lot of Lions fans did, but I didn't even have Saint there just because. At first I had Saint in the top 10, but then in the offseason I had a lot of discussions where, he just missed it due to CeeDee Lamb and a couple others who was another one? CeeDee Lamb, Jalen Waddle. There was a couple guys that, were more deep threats and stuff and more outside wide receivers. But did you know this season St. Brown he's split time at slot and as outside receiver, so that was something interesting I found out. But so where was I going with this? Oh yeah, Debo. He's consistency, and he gets hurt, but even when he's not hurt, you don't feel like I don't feel like he's a top 5 receiver or anything like that. Good playmaker though, and he's gotten to this with how many players? He got into it with the Rams and Aaron Donald. Can't remember. There was another team he was beefing with. So, I think it was Philly last year. I'm not sure. Even though CJ was on Philly, so that could have been it. So I'm not sure.
That's where it stems from.
Yeah. I just love how CJ just he don't give a shit. He just gonna talk shit, and that's what I tell people. He talks shit, but he will back it up. He's a beast, dude. He's great in the run game. He's all over the field. He's great in coverage. He can play either safety spot. He can play the nickel. You could even put him on outside corner if you really want him to. He's really good. Great. He's a great player. And he said, look, Debo, I'll see you in the divisional round, whatever. We might not see them to the NFC Championship game potentially, depending on seeding. We'll see. But imagine that. That will be. I like it because it brings a potential playoff matchup and makes it so much better. It makes it more intense because now you got Niners and Lions fans a little bit beefing. I got a lot of Niners buddies, and we was talking shit to each other, but at the end of the day, it's all cool. It's just fun. And then you got CJ and Debo, and our team versus their team. They're going to want to show up for the boys, back their teammates up. So it's going to be fun, and we're finally relevant enough where people are kind of hating on the Lions. I've seen some Niners fans say, oh, you got a weak schedule. Oh, you guys got a little good, and you guys talking hella shit. We're finally in a spot where, and we're also getting top 1 love. People are saying the Lions are the best team in the league. They don't like that because they've been the big dog in the NFC, which I understand. They're the standard in the NFC, right? Like Daniel Jeremiah said, we're kind of the younger version of the Niners, and I do like that. We're built in similar ways, so that's really cool to hear. And they are, so I get it when they hear they got this new upcoming team, and they're getting all the love all of a sudden. So, yeah. But it could bring a great matchup. I'm just happy to be in the conversation of it because I think I don't really care where you put us in the top 5. I think we're a top 5 team. I really don't care where you put us because the good thing about the NFL is you get to prove it. If you're a top 5 team, you get to go to the playoffs. You'll go to the playoffs if you're a top 5 team in the NFL, and you get to prove it. You know what I mean? So if we're the best team in the league, we'll prove that in the playoffs. And it's crazy. I'm ready for the playoffs, and we're not even halfway through the season. You know what I mean? And usually it could go bad, and we could lose the rest of their games, right? But I don't feel like that's gonna happen. This team is legit. So, yeah, it's a fun little beef, huh?
It's fun to be a part of the conversation. We haven't had this type of hype. We haven't had this type of just any relevancy on our team at all. And
yeah,
I think this. I know you don't sign a guy for beefing with another guy on Twitter, but that kind of culture is well needed in Detroit, and I stand by it 100%. I love what he's doing. Talk that talk, man. I mean, because I know we can back it up on the field, so I love it. It's fun to follow on Twitter. But yeah, to your point, like it's fun to just be thinking about the playoffs on week 7, and it's just great to see that that the Niners, the class of the NFC, is looking at us like maybe as we're a little bit of a threat. I mean, they better look at us like a threat. I mean, Philly was the same way last year. I mean, they were the upcoming team out of nowhere. They made the playoffs the year before, and they got blown out by Tampa Bay. And the next year they make it to the Super Bowl. So I just honestly think like every year is a new year. You don't know where this one team's going to come up out of nowhere, or like the hype is if it's real or not. And when a team shows that they're real, you gotta watch out for them. And I think that's us.
It's funny because a lot of people said, can the Lions live up to the hype, in the offseason? Oh, we're the offseason champs. Can they live up to the hype and pressure? They're not the underdogs no more. And a lot of people kept telling me that, and they have. Now it's like, oh, well, they haven't really played anybody. But it's funny because the other 4 or 5-1 teams, they actually have a worse, their opponents have a worse combined record than our opponents. Our opponents is 16-17. They're almost 500. The rest of them are, a couple games under 500. So it's like, but that don't matter to me. You play who you play. Like, you got to prove it in the playoffs. Like, you can tell if a team's legit. When you beat a team by 14-plus points, 4 straight games, bro, this is not college football. This is the NFL. You don't do that in the NFL. So
that's why I feel like I wrote this down in my notes, like, about this upcoming Ravens game. This game, like, if we win this game, no one has any more excuses to not back us up. I mean, we'll be beating, 2 division champs back-to-back at their place. And
let's talk about that game.
That's another quarterback that, a good quarterback that we will have beaten.
Yeah, Lamar Jackson. Let's talk about this game in the Lions at Ravens, because that defense is great. I didn't know how good it was till I started diving into it a little bit this week. I'm like, oh shit, this is a great defense. One of the best in the league. They blitz a lot. They get into the quarterback. They got a lot of pressures. They're really good against the run, really good against the pass. I'm like, man, they're really good, just period, all around. Offensively, they run the football, but, I mean, obviously Lamar, he's a threat. And then their passing game is struggling. It's still, you know what I mean? But they do have Mark Andrews and Zay Flowers, the rookie, playing good. So still have some weapons you gotta account for, you know what I mean? But this is going to be a battle, and you're in Baltimore. Even if Baltimore was just like an okay team, you're in Baltimore. That's going to be against John Harbaugh. That's going to be tough, period. So this is a game they definitely could lose. The Lions could lose, Could be a close one. They could lose on the road. And if they do, it's going to be like, oh, the Lions ain't legit, blah, blah, blah. Which, if they did lose, I wouldn't believe that. But I believe we're going to win. Why wouldn't I? Every week I'm going to feel like we're going to win that game. I feel like we're that good of a football team. Because we have a great defense, too. We are top 10 in everything except passing yards, or passing yards against. We're like 17 or 18. But a lot of that comes from the Seattle game, Take that game away.
Carolina.
Yeah, garbage time in Carolina and that Seattle game. Yep. But after that, our pass defense, if you watch it with your eyes, the eye test, you're like, yeah, that's a pretty good pass defense. Yeah. So, yeah, it's going to be a tough matchup in Baltimore. Any matchups you're kind of looking out for, or what should the Lions have to do to get this W?
Two things that stand out right away. I mean, we're gonna have to do it again with our offensive line. Gonna have to go out there again and just show why you guys are the best. Got to protect Jared Goff against this awesome Baltimore defense. And then the defensive line against the run. Got to stop the run. Keep it going. That's what they like to do. They're just like us a little bit, where they like to establish that run game. Just make it so they can't. And it's those two things right there, like, we have to do from the get-go. Like, those are the 2 points that, like, when I really looked down and sat and talked or just thought about this game, okay, I was like, what do we need to do to, like, win this game? And it's just like, man, it starts with, up front on both sides. And it's just like, their defense is going to be flying around. And it's up to our offensive line to just make sure Jared Goff has time. And it's up to our defensive line to just keep doing what you're doing. Show that you guys are number one. and just make sure they don't ever establish that run game, because I feel like that will immensely help us. It'd be like Tampa Bay all over again, in my opinion, where they kind of have to like force the ball downfield to
Mm-hmm.
catch up. And so that's where, and Lamar Jackson, I mean, gotta contain him. That's the thing that scares me the most about this game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, looking back at the Chiefs game, Mahomes was able to get away and create plays with his legs, and Geno Smith had a few plays where he extended drives where we needed them not to with his legs. And
Mm-hmm.
those two don't even compare to Lamar in speed and the ability to get away from tackles. So those three things, I mean, are the big like takeaways I think about that going into this game.
Oh yeah, yeah, I agree. Lamar for me is the number one thing you gotta watch. Like their passing game hasn't been good, but he's so dynamic. You know, if he starts running a lot, he's gonna run, pass, and then you're gonna be like, oh, okay, you gotta stop. You gotta make them one dimensional. Preferably take away his legs. You know, we've been really good against the run with mostly running backs. We haven't been super tested with a super mobile quarterback like Lamar, but this is gonna be a great test. But I feel like our run defense is super legit. You know, our linebackers are going to fly around. You know, Branch is back. He's going to fly around. So you could contain Lamar Jackson, you know, and do like you said. Take away that run. Make them throw that. I like that. I like our team in that battle. I like our defense versus that. Force them to throw the ball. And then offensively, you know, yeah, like you said, we do that. We got to run the football. You know, I'm excited to see Jahmyr Gibbs. Because they're good against the run and good against the pass. But if you can control the game a little bit, I feel like this is going to be one of those, like a gritty defensive game. You know, we just gotta grind it out a little bit and pull away at the end.
Yeah.
You know, so it's gonna be probably one of those, especially on the road. So if you can just kind of control the game a little bit, you know, establish the run, stop their run, you probably win the game. It might be close still, but that's fine. You go to Baltimore, you win by 1, I'm cool. Just like I said against Tampa, I don't care. Just win, because I mean Baltimore, they're a pretty good football team, and so yeah.
And just I wanted to like at least say this, see like how you're feeling about this. I honestly think this could be a JMO breakout game. I don't know why. It kind of feels like he is the one player that to take this offense and just score like 2 touchdowns, 110 yards, only on 4 receptions, but come out and just make the big plays right when we need
Yeah.
them to, just like last week. And
Just like
you know,
just like I was just gonna say, just like how Tampa, you know, they threw some cover zero against us, you know, man to man, they just all out blitz us. If they do, Baltimore does that, you know, especially if we have Jamo out wide 1-on-1, even with anybody, even Humphrey, he's so fast, bro. I hope we get that look. If we get that look, I think we're gonna take advantage of that. You know what I mean? So, and then you have, you know, Saint will be there. You got Reynolds, you got Laporta, Gibbs. It's going to be explosive. I would like to see some screens to Gibbs. Haven't really seen that much this season, but I'd like to see some of that. But yeah, I agree. Like, Jamo could have a big game because, you know, you got all these other weapons. You got, okay, they got to watch out for Gibbs, and then Laporta, and then Saint. And especially Saint coming off that great game. Like, you can't man-to-man with him either. So it's like, okay.
You know, one of the games that they lost this year to the Steelers, what's his name?
Pickens?
Pickens was destroying them deep. And
Yep.
he's not even
And
as
the game
fast as
winner.
Yeah, he's not even as fast as JMO at all.
Right.
And I'm just like, man, like, that's just like, I feel like that could be like the reason why we win this game is just the deep threat of JMO coming up clutch in a few scores. Even if
that could be the
whatever. Like,
yeah, that could be the difference, you know. That could be the touchdown that
Tampa Bay.
Yeah, that could be the play that wins the game for us. So yeah, you know, stop the run like you've been doing. You know, try to establish a run yourselves, and then yeah, if they give you those looks that cover zero, you should not. Goff is really good under pressure. He's good under pressure. O-line's elite. They can take it, and we have guys that are gonna get open. Go ahead, play man with us. You know, we got playmakers, man, all over. So, that's their fault. You know, that's their mistake.
It's not necessarily that Goff is great under pressure, but he's so good at like seeing the pressure before, you know, when he knows that they're calling it, and he can change the play.
Well,
You know, and that helps with Ben Johnson's offense. I mean, with a lot of the motion that they're running, you know, he can see if they're running man or if you know, he can see if they're running a blitz or not. And that has been so key, I feel like, for our offense this year too. Him
yeah.
diagnosing before the snap.
Yeah, he's really good at anticipating too. Like you're
Oh,
blitzing,
I
he's
agree.
gonna put the he's gonna you got 1-on-1. Oh, that's what happened against Tampa. They were cooking. But you got any how about we do some score predictions for the game, for the Ravens Lions game?
I'm thinking 24-21. I mean, I honestly I feel like it's just like they're gonna have the ball last, and it's gonna come down to a pick off Lamar when they're trying to drive down the field.
I like it. I got Lions. I think I got Lions 23-20. They're just gonna grind out. It's gonna be a close game. I think we'll have the ball last, and we'll get in field goal range, and Riley Patterson will hit the game winner, and we'll walk off. We'll walk off like that and be 6-1.
Agreed. And it's just, you know, no 65, 66-yard field goals by Tuck
Cool,
this
no.
time.
Nope.
This time, you know.
Not this time.
Uh,
Sorry.
I hope that is being replayed like all week. About how
Right.
we had this team.
Yep, we had
We
him.
let it slip away.
Yep.
And so that's just, you know, I don't want that to happen. That's why it's like I think 24-21. We forced Lamar to make a mistake, and
Yeah.
you know, I can honestly see it ending that way.
I like it. Anything else?
No, let's look at the notes. Just I don't know, I pretty much said everything. We've basically covered everything that I wrote down in my notes. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, no, I mean, yeah, Gibbs and Branch are playing. Nope, that's
Yeah.
honestly, I feel like both those players being back is huge for us. We just got to get
Also,
healthier.
Josh Pascal looks like he might return too, so I can't wait to see him. But yeah, we're getting healthier. You know, we play a good Baltimore team. It's gonna be tough, but hopefully we can go out there, and I believe we can. You know, beat Baltimore on the road and get to 6-1 before we come home against our Monday night game against the Raiders here in Detroit.
If we win this one, like I don't want to say it's buy one get one, but like it almost might be buy one get one if we win this game, because that Raiders, if we're going in there 6-1 on Monday night, that crowd is gonna break the roof off of that
Yep,
place.
it's gonna blow it off.
I've told you for weeks or for months now that's the game I want to go to. I don't know if I'll be able to.
Yeah.
But that's the game I wanted to go to because I just know that crowd's gonna be electric.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'll be there, and it's gonna be insane. I know it is. So if we're 6-1, it's gonna be even more insane. But
Right.
yeah, that's all I have.
That's all I got, man.
All right, it was a good time. We'll be back. We'll try to be back next week, guys. And yeah, let's go to Baltimore. Let's get this W. Go Lions, one pride, baby.
Yeah, go Lions, one pride. Let's get the dub.